Did you know that a 16-year-old teenager from Roblox earned more in 1 year than a top Google manager? Sounds like fiction, but it's pure reality. The hero of this video is Jandel, the creator of the popular game Grow a Garden, and his story can surprise even those who are already used to hearing about millions on YouTube or TikTok. We'll break down how a regular high schooler managed to build an empire inside Roblox. I'll show you the actual numbers behind his earnings, explain what stands behind the success, and what lessons you and I can take from it. By the end, we'll compare his income with the salaries of doctors and programmers, and the result will shock you. Jandel is a teenager who grew up in an ordinary family. His room looked no different from yours or mine. A desk, a pair of headphones, and countless hours in Roblox. It all started with a simple interest in games. He launched simulators, built small maps, tested scripts. Most kids drop such hobbies after a couple of weeks. But Jandel was stubborn. He decided, I'll make my own game and millions will play it. That's how his journey began. Roblox Studio became more than just a playground for fun. It turned into a platform for creativity and learning. His first projects were failures. Few players, simple graphics. But every failure gave him experience. He learned from his mistakes, experimented with new mechanics, and eventually came up with an idea that changed everything. It's important to understand, Jandel wasn't a born genius programmer. He's just like most viewers of this video. He had no investors, no connections, no huge budget. Only persistence, the internet, and the desire to create something of his own. And that's exactly what makes his story so inspiring. But how did these small Roblox experiments grow into a game that brought in millions? In the next part, we'll break down Jandel's journey step by step and see what moment became the turning point in his career. So how did an ordinary teenager become the creator of one of the most popular games on Roblox? It all started with small steps. Jandel's first projects were simple, with almost no players. He made maps and minigames that attracted maybe 10 to 20 people. Earnings, just a few dollars. On a huge platform like Roblox, these results looked insignificant. But this is where he learned the basics. How the in-game currency Robux works, how to attract players, and what makes people return again and again. The turning point came when Jandel stopped thinking only as a player and started thinking like an entrepreneur. He realized that success on Roblox depends on two factors, a unique idea and audience retention. That's when the concept of Grow a Garden was born. Simple and brilliant. You start with a small piece of land and gradually turn it into a huge garden. People love seeing progress, especially in games, and this mechanic hooked millions of players. Imagine this. During the first weeks, Grow a Garden had about 200 to 300 players online. But once the game hit the popular section, daily online numbers skyrocketed to 20,000. The growth was explosive. Charts of player counts and Robux sales looked like roller coasters shooting almost vertically upward. Along with the growing audience came the first serious income. At the beginning, Jandel was making $100, $200 a week, which already felt unreal for a teenager. But within just a few months, the numbers skyrocketed. Roblox Marketplace and in-game purchases started bringing in thousands of dollars every month. Imagine a teenager sitting at home, playing, and at the same time making more money than his parents combined. He himself admitted he couldn't believe it. I was just making a game I wanted to play myself. I never even thought it would become this popular. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Because the growing popularity of Grow a Garden turned Jandel's hobby into a full-scale business. And his income was no longer measured in hundreds, but in tens of thousands of dollars. Let's take a look at exactly how much he started making and how this money changed his life. Now let's talk about what everyone is most curious about. How much does the creator of Grow a Garden really make? This is where Jandel's story shifts from a hobby project to a business generating the kind of income most adults only dream about. When the game first started gaining traction, revenue came through Roblox Premium and in-game purchases. The average player would buy decorations, upgrades, and boosters. It's important to remember, on Roblox, creators only receive a share of the revenue, around 70% of Robux, while the rest goes to the platform. But even with this limitation, the numbers were staggering. According to open data and indirect estimates, in the very first year after launching Grow a Garden, Jandel's earnings surpassed $200,000 per year. To put it simply, that's about $16,000 per month. For comparison, That's more than the average salary of a surgeon in the US or a programmer at Microsoft. As the game grew more popular, the numbers kept rising. Peak months brought in $30,000, $40,000, which is like buying 20 to 25 brand new iPhone 15s or 3 Tesla Model 3 cars in a single year. But money isn't just about numbers. For Jandel, income opened new doors. He reinvested in game development, hired a small team of artists and programmers, spent on marketing and promotion. Interestingly, Jandel didn't behave like a typical millionaire teenager. He didn't rush out to buy a supercar or a huge mansion. By his own words, the biggest expenses went into reinvesting in projects. Still, let's be honest, he did spend a portion on himself, upgrading his tech, traveling, and investing in his own education. To give you a sense of scale, by the time he was 20, Jandel could have saved several $1,000,000. That's more than many top managers earn in 10 to 15 years at big corporations. And here comes a natural question. How did the audience react to his success? Because money in Roblox isn't just the result of a game, it's also a powerful motivator for other teenagers. They see his numbers and start believing they can follow the same path. That's why Jandel became more than just a developer. He became a symbol of what's possible on Roblox. But behind every success story stands an engaged audience. Next, we'll dive into how he kept players hooked, and why millions return to his garden every single day. Any successful Roblox game survives not only because of its idea, but also because of how long players want to keep coming back. And Jandel understood this from the very beginning. Grow a Garden isn't just a plant-growing simulator. It's a whole ecosystem where every action a player takes turns into part of the gamified experience. Imagine this. You plant a seed, care for it, water it, watch it grow. Soon, you have a full garden you can be proud of. But Jandel didn't stop there. To keep the audience's attention, he built in a progression system. Levels, rare plants, secret upgrades. Every new upgrade unlocked fresh possibilities, and players felt that hook effect, the desire to return again and again to unlock more. He also introduced interactive events. For example, guess which rare fruit will appear in the next update, or collect 100 unique plants to get a super reward. These mechanics created a competitive spirit among players. Another key was how actively Jandel listened to his audience. He ran polls on Twitter and Discord, asking players what they wanted to see next. Then he actually implemented those changes into the game. This made people feel like they were part of the creative process, which built strong loyalty. But the most exciting part, the hidden challenges. Grow a Garden contained secret quests that weren't announced officially. Players stumbled upon them by accident, shared them on social media, and formed entire communities around solving them. This word-of-mouth effect made the game spread far beyond Roblox itself. Visual design played a big role too. Bright colors, simple animations, a bit of humor, making the game appealing to kids and teens, but still fun for adults. Now here's a striking fact. Can you guess how long the average player spent in Grow a Garden per session? More than 40 minutes. That's almost twice the Roblox average. Players weren't just playing, they were living inside the game. And that explains why Jandel's income grew like wildfire. The longer people stayed, the higher the chances they'd buy in-game items. This was Jandel's secret. He didn't just attract players, he retained them. And that's exactly what turns a developer into a true entrepreneur. The story of Jandel isn't just about a teenager who made a game and earned money. It's a collection of lessons that anyone can apply. First, you can start from nothing. Jandel didn't have a team of programmers, investors, or a marketing budget. He simply used the free tools in Roblox Studio and invested his own time into experimenting. His journey proves that you don't need startup capital to succeed. Second, continuous improvement. Jandel didn't stop at the first version of his game. He rolled out updates almost every week, adding new plants, reworking mechanics, fixing bugs. That gave players the sense of a living world, where there was always something new to discover. Third, communication with the audience. Many developers ignore their players, treating them as just users. But Jandel built a community, a Discord server, Twitter, in-game chats. He asked for feedback, discussed upcoming updates, and made changes accordingly. This open dialogue became the foundation of trust. Fourth, monetization through value. In Grow a Garden, In-game purchases didn't feel like pushy paywalls. They were a natural part of the game: growth boosters, rare seeds, exclusive decorations. People spent money because they wanted to enhance their gardens, not because they were forced to. Now let's look at the numbers to see just how successful this project was. By different estimates, Grow a Garden brought Jandel tens of thousands of dollars each month. For comparison, an average Microsoft programmer earns about $120,000 a year, while a doctor in the US makes around $200,000 annually. Yet Jandel, at only 16 years old, was already hitting figures that could surpass these. And here's the main insight: money doesn't have to come from a 9-to-5 office job. In today's digital age, a Roblox teenager can earn more than someone who studied at university for 10 years. This changes the rules of the game for an entire generation. That's why Jandel's story is so important. It shows that anyone can start from zero, turn a hobby into a business, and build a career in gaming. The only question is, are you ready to work as hard and as consistently as he did? If you want to know how much other Roblox and YouTube creators make, hit subscribe. In the next video, we'll cover the story of a developer who turned Minecraft into a multi-million-dollar business. Because these stories aren't just about money, they're about how the world itself is changing.